Sorry, guys, I
You
can't
can
be
you
part of
can you
this.
can continue
There are
to
many
be busy.
potatoes to be had.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
add a Gone Fishing logo over Grey Wolf's face anyway. So, but yeah, we're live. So, hello
Sounds
internet.
good.
Welcome to the Twinstiq Game Club. Soon there will be a Gone Fishing logo over Grey Wolf's face because we're pretty sure he fell asleep in the river or something.
Yeah.
Fell asleep somewhere.
Yeah. So we're gonna just go ahead and continue on with the because we're pretty sure he fell asleep in the river and hopefully not totally fuck up his game. And if he happens to pop on later, then yeah, he'll join us and stuff. But for now, with me, I've got Screw the Loose.
Screw the loose.
Screw the Loose.
It's not really it, but
How you doing, Screw the Loose?
I'm all right. Doing well.
Hello.
Ready to talk about
Test.
Primordia.
Oh,
Oh, there he is.
Whoa.
Test.
There's Gray.
Can
Whoa.
you hear me?
We can
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah,
I'm gonna
very
take
well.
the Gone Fishing thing off of your off your logo. Hey internet, I told you he might be back, and he's back
I'm sorry.
in the first minute of recording. So perfect.
Yeah.
well done.
That's very good.
Good job.
Yeah, good timing.
Ta-da.
So again, we had internet trouble with Skype once more.
Ah,
Of
okay.
course.
This one was even funnier. I actually remembered my account details, and Skype locked me out of my account.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Perfect.
In their infinite wisdom, and then I had to sign into Microsoft to get that unblocked, and then I had to do various crazy things. And then once I'd done those, then it was like, oh, your account's unblocked now. But you might want to check the
Oh, yeah,
suspicious
you are
activity.
that guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I am here,
All right.
Sweet.
and we're talking about Primordia.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
How
we were
much
just
have
doing
talked
introductions.
about
We
Primordia?
So
we
far
are
we got
still doing
three.
introductions. Well, we introduced Screw the Loose, and now joining us is Gray the Wolf.
Very good.
How you doing, Gray
Hello,
the
Ed.
Wolf? Even better now that your internet's interneting.
I'm alright. I'm a lot better now that I'm here.
Yeah, good.
Good to hear you.
Okay.
Yep. And lastly,
So-
we have Nick the Lie.
Yes.
Nick,
That's
the
what they
lie.
call me.
He's not really here. It's like that cake. It's like that cake.
Yeah, it's
What
that
cake?
cake from the Portal game. It was a lie.
From the Portal game.
From that
That
one
we
little
should-
Hi,
Portal game.
I'm here. Here I am.
I'm here.
I'm actually
Here I am.
actually playing Stardew Valley right now, which a
Well,
little bit.
Not
Oh,
anymore.
okay. Well, you should do that more and not talk to us.
Yeah, that's
Yo, get out of here.
intended. To,
leave us alone.
I intended to stop before we started recording, but Cody just started recording. So
I told you we would start at 12:10. I started at 12:10. What do you want from me?
But yeah, Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the second half of a discussion about Primordia. Last week we talked about the mechanics and aesthetic and the overall feel of the game. The plan was to get to the first half of the little setup piece, which is all the way up to Metropole. And once we got up to Metropole, we said we'd stop and then we'd pick up. And this is where we're picking up. In last week's spoilers, you basically missed it. There's a lot of fishy stuff going on in the world. It's a ruined world after the apocalypse. Quite a long way after the apocalypse, actually. And the robots that are left behind, because this is an uplift story about robots, all worship man.
Yep.
They call their religion humanism, and the whole basic premise of this is that the humans existed at some point in the distant past, but no robot in this timeline has seen an actual human. And so, because this is after the event world, it's also a world that's in decay and decline. So you are on your little ship called the Unique, and you have a power core, and a thing called Scraper comes in and steals your power core, so you go chasing after Scraper, and you end up in Metropole, the city of glass and light, which is kind of where we left off. So, has everyone finished the game? Let's
Yes.
start there.
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's start about your immediate visceral reaction to finishing it. Let's start there.
I was really pumped and like super happy. It might just be
Yeah,
because I got a pretty
actually,
cool ending.
Tell us your story, because you left a little note in Slack.
Yeah. So I don't know what note you want me to refer to. I guess.
I'm talking about the minute you finished it. You're like, give me more.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then you.
So yeah, my reaction, my literal initial reaction was, "Oh man, that ending! I want more now. Give me books, TV shows,
So,
anything." Set.
You'll be pleased to know that there is a short story in the Primordia universe that you can go and read.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Is it a sequel? Because this sets up a sequel so well. Oh man, I don't know if anyone else's ending did that.
This is
all
the endings do that to a limited extent.
Okay, well, I'll just say what my ending was. So I defeated what's her face? Metromind by taking the virus chip and putting it in my long range scanner thing, and I used that to upload the virus to Scrapper, who was holding me at gunpoint. And then Metromind just kind of went away, and I picked up Clarity's head.
Charity?
Clarity.
Yes.
Not Charity.
Clarity.
Charity killed herself.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Charity killed herself.
Yeah, picked up Clarity's head, wandered off into the sunset, walked all the way back to the ship, and rebuilt Crispin and Clarity, and started building a new settlement at the Unique. And it was fucking wonderful.
Do you know how many robots you got with you? Apart from Clarity and Crispin.
No, I didn't count how many were on the screen. I really only thought that because he said he had a line saying something along the lines of like other robots wandered around and eventually found our settlement, and it's growing.
Yeah. Right.
So.
Okay. Jay, Skrulus, do you want to tell us about your ending?
My ending was it sounds like the same as Cody's. I used Crispin. Crispin blows himself up.
Yeah, to try to take out Metromind's...
in an act of total selflessness, which I thought was great for his character.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It is great for his character.
And it gives you a little interaction window, and I thought, well, they must be giving you this for a reason, so I did some pixel hunting and found his matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And so when you go back upstairs, then Scraper's there, and he's holding you at gunpoint, and Metromind is flipping me off and all this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I did the same thing. I uploaded the virus to Scraper, it killed Scraper and Metromind, and I picked up Clarity's head. And, yeah, picks up the power core, and Horatio talks about how he's sick of being the nice guy, and he's doing what he was designed to do, and that's destroy Metropole.
Yep.
I'm taking my power core. I'm going home.
Yeah, because Metromind even tells you, look, what you've been doing through this whole game is fixing people. You've been solving problems. It's in your nature. And he's like, nope, I was created as Horus. I was built to destroy, and that's what I'm doing to you, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes back. He makes it back. He says, it's a long walk, but I got the power core in my hand.
Yep.
I'm going to rebuild Crispin and Clarity, excuse me.
Which is actually what the logo of the game is him holding the power core. So
it is.
Yeah.
Do you know how many robots you had on screen at the end?
No, I didn't count them. I just assumed it was everyone.
I just assumed there were a lot of people just finding the thing over time. I didn't realize it had to do with what you did in game.
It's dependent on how many problems you solve in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
Nick, do you want to tell us about your ending?
Well, I actually played through the ending a couple of times, but I'm going to tell you about the first ending that I got, where I was a little bit rushed, and I was clicking on Crispin after he sacrifices himself, and I could not find anything to do with his body. So
I barely noticed my text change when I was hovering over it, and I'm still not sure what I clicked on, but I just noticed that the name changed to Matrix, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll click here.
I went back and did it again later, and it's like literally 3 pixels.
It is. It's very small.
Yeah.
The pixels are pretty large in this game, but only 3 of them is still pretty small.
Showed up as being something.
Yeah.
Because the scene starts with you staring at his corpse, and so you're just like, oh, man, I don't want to look at that. That's horrible.
Yeah. So I was clicking, and there's nothing I can do for him. Is Horatio's response to clicking on him. So, it just kind of sucked. So, I clicked on him a few times, and he just kept saying there's nothing I can do for him. So I was like, well, okay, nothing I can do for him.
Yeah,
so I leave, and I did the same thing where I put the virus into Scraper. Scraper?
Scraper.
Yeah. It's been been like a week. But the ending was super sad. It was just like Horatio dejectedly walks back to the ship and goes, "Ugh, this sucks." And he says, "Well, I understand why my previous versions forgot." And so it was pretty poetic. A story about loss, and it was actually quite beautiful, and but I was very sad afterwards. So I loaded a save, clicked on the 3 pixels, and I didn't actually get Clarity's head. I couldn't ever figure out. Well,
you have to get it before you upload the virus. Otherwise, you don't get the chance.
I figured that out later, but it's still like I felt like, well, I don't want to go and try for that head while Scraper's there pointing his guns at me. I guess gun in this case.
Yeah.
But so I didn't. So I was like, well, I'll just upload the virus, pick up the head, and be on my merry way. But nope. Once you upload the virus, it's like a cutscene and you lose control. So
yes.
But it was still a better ending because you get Crispin back, and
he has arms when he gets back.
He has arms. He
does.
You give him arms, and I think I had 3 robots there, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Because when I was, I remember thinking about this, but there's that robot who sings, kind of. I don't remember the name. Yeah. And I was doing the adventure game thing, where usually there's only one solution to any problem. But in this game, there's not. There's several.
Yes.
And I was like, I guess I could start talking about this, or I could talk about it later.
No, you're talking about it now. Who cares?
No, it's fine.
So, well, so that robot.
You go ahead.
Yeah, the robot is missing an engine, and you can get the engine from a scrap dealer. So I did that. Yeah. I got the engine, but the engine's broken, and you can repair it with some copper wire. So I offer the robot the engine, and I kind of missed what was said. I didn't really read it effectively, so I was like, "Oh, what did that say?" So I offered the engine again, and later I found out that the first thing said was actually no, you should fix this engine before you give it back to the robot. But you can still give it to them, and that robot was like, ugh, you suck. This is terrible. Why did you give me this crappy engine?
What an asshole!
And later, I got the wiring that I needed to fix the engine, but and that was actually pretty interesting, and I kind of liked it.
With Crispin's,
it was a cool little mini game there.
Yep,
it was.
But you can avoid getting the wiring and fixing the engine. You can completely skip that part if you just offer it to the robot again.
There's a lot you can skip. You can skip a lot.
So you don't actually have to help all of the robot's problems in front of the courthouse?
No.
So I want to say, I'm looking at a screenshot I took right at the end when everyone's standing there, and I want to say there's either 4 or 5 robots on this. I'm thinking it might be 4, because I think what I'm thinking is a 5th might actually be the generator.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I think I might have recorded my end cutscene too. I'm gonna look.
So you've rescued 2. What was the other one? Do you remember, Nikolai?
I don't remember. I vaguely remember there being 3 clusters of pixels.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't really looking more at the robots who were like working down at the little settlement.
That you got
I was staring at Horatio and Crispin and fucking Clarity, who's the coolest goddamn character in this whole game. Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah, Clarity's great.
She's the best.
Because the thing is that the way it works out is it's possible to save all of the robots, but you have to do a ton of work to do it. It's like a bunch of ands. You have to do this and.
Yeah. Well, that's how I felt when it was like you have to get in the courthouse and you have to wait in line, and there are 3 things you have to do before you can be the first in line. And I go, oh.
Yes.
All right, well, let's start from the bottom. Oh, God, you have a horrible puzzle. Okay, let's write out all this.
Did any of you guys figure out how to save the guy that was waiting at the bus stop? Just like the sad, simple robot?
No, I never figured that out.
I never went back to him.
He's one of the few guys that you can't do anything about.
You can't do anything with him. Okay.
No. He's mainly there to show kind of how... because like lots of the little things all add up when you play the game, and you see it again in hindsight and with context. A lot of there's a lot of stuff about cycles. Because if you look at the first couple of scenes in the game, one of the things that Crispin says is, "Oh, so he's basically a walking bomb," and then at the end the cycle completes. He explodes himself.
It was very good poetry, George Lucas.
Yes.
Take notes.
Again, one of the very earliest things that Horatio says is he built Crispin and he gave him a maglev unit so he could fly, and because he always wanted to fly. So one of the endings is that you can jump off the building. You fly.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's lots of, when you get to the end, there's lots of little different endings that you can do. One is you can jump off the building and you can suicide yourself. You can blow up Metromind. You can blow up Metropole. You can not upload the virus to Scraper. There's lots of different variations on that ending.
You can choose to join Metromind, I think, as well.
You can choose to join Metromind, yeah. But, I mean, to get there, you have to go through every single conversation option she has.
Ultimately, so that's I want to interrupt you for a moment. Ultimately, that's how I ended up deciding that I wanted to stop talking and search while I still could, because I got all the way through that conversation, and I was like, okay, so it looks like I can still stop her. Crispin's dead. Maybe that's supposed to happen, but I kept thinking, I don't know if I want to make this decision yet. And then I was like, look at my inventory, and I searched around, and that's when I noticed that Clarity's head was highlighted.
Yep.
It was interactive, so I could go pick it up, and I did that, and I was like, okay, so now I've got Crispin's matrix and Clarity's head. Maybe he rebuilds Maybe he rebuilds one or the other, and puts his matrix into clarity or something like that. This is going through my head, and then I remembered that I had the virus chip.
Yeah.
And it kept saying, I need something to transmit it with. And then I finally put 2 and 2 together and went, wait a minute, this thing can go in the radio transmitter, right?
Yeah. It was very satisfying. It was even more satisfying than when you blow him up in front of the courthouse, and I thought that was a fucking awesome moment. But when Metropoint gives you all the options, and I'm just like, I'm gonna think about it because that's bullshit. Fuck you.
So I didn't actually choose an option.
I didn't either.
I just decided to do that, and I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I tried it on Metromind first, and it wouldn't do anything, because I thought it was going to be upload virus to Metromind, I kill her, and then Scraper kills me, and that would be the end of it. And then I was like, all right, well, I can't do it to her. Try Scraper, and basically a better version of that.
You can also upload the virus to Metropol itself and destroy Metropol.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, there's, like I said, there's lots of different variations on the ending. But I think that's what makes it so interesting, is that different people get different endings dependent on kind of what they do. Sorry, I was talking a little bit earlier about the cycles. So, one of the things that you learn as you play is that actually Metromind is taking cycles out of robots to make herself smarter. Because Metromind started out, we haven't really talked about Metromind, so let's talk about her for a moment. She is the big bad of the game, and the way she started out was she was a train conducting program.
Yes.
That was her whole job. And then she got a little big for her britches, and she decided, okay, well, she can run the city. But what had happened in between the fall of man and the point where you enter the game is that there's the Council of Four. And these guys were kind of the final arbiters of how the city should be run. And slowly but surely, Metromind kind of usurped their power. In fact, she made some of them commit basically suicide.
And she kind of manipulated people. And it was kind of interesting how she did that in the same way that you would see like a human manipulate the court of law and stuff like that. And the way they have the laws set up and how they work was also very unique in that you had the arbiter of law, who is very much the decision maker behind it all, but you also had the interpretations of the law and how the law is very clear in clarity, and the law can't also be that all the time with charity, and that we need to be charitable with how the laws work, otherwise we could end up really fucking shit up. I thought that was a very cool way to interpret how laws
needs to be more than pure logic.
And one of the things that's also very cool about that, in turn, is that when you look at the way the robots all work, they're all working towards a very specific end goal.
Mm-hmm.
And you see this particularly with Alpha and Beta. They're broken, and then when you put them together, they form Goliath. So Goliath is a war machine. That's what Goliath is supposed to be doing, Yeah. And so when something like an arbiter is passing stuff off to Clarity and Charity, what's really happening is Clarity is focusing on the crux of the idea, and Charity is focusing on the emotion of the idea.
Yeah.
But because they're following two different strands, they will never end up at the same end.
Right.
And so each of these robots is following core logic down to a very sort of narrow path. Like, if you take Metromind, she was designed to run train systems, and she was doing that okay until she decided that she wanted to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And then it starts breaking down, because now she's doing a job she was never meant to do.
Yep.
One of the interesting things that's buried in all of this is that when you think about it, Metromind is actually a fascist dictator, because she sets up this control of the system, and she wants to run it properly and run it so that it works, but she can never do that.
Yeah.
So, her name might as well be Donald.
Yeah. or Stalin or Mao or anything like that. Yeah, basically.
The guy who wrote the game actually said that he thought of the game based on a quote that Mussolini made, which was that the quote is that Mussolini imposed his particular version of the Marxist ideal to get the trains run properly.
Yeah.
And when you think about what Metromine is doing, that's very telling, because Mussolini never managed it.
Especially how Metromine is literally a train program. Yeah, that's interesting. But no, I thought they had a lot of great real world interpretations and stuff like that. There's a great line that Clarity has when Horatio finds out that it was lawful for Scraper to take his power core. And he's very angry and wants her to be vengeful about it, and she says something along the lines of, she says something like, the armor of law is far more valuable to anyone than its sword, and I thought that was very telling of the message that the writers are trying to get across, and they did it in very good ways, I thought.
I liked how also Clarity knew all the loopholes, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because when she's murdering the shells, right, essentially that are coming up there, and she's like, no, I can't just kill them. That's unlawful.
Yeah.
But what I can do is warn them not to come here, and then when they trespass, then I have legal right to kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get around that.
It even justifies the trope of putting heads on a pike. She goes, "It's not brutal. It's a warning. It says if you cross this line, then you will die, and that's how this works."
Right.
That was what? You're trying to scare off Scraper? And she was like, "No, I'm not trying to scare him. I'm trying to warn him so I can kill him if he crosses the line."
Yeah, because he broke a law.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Did anyone catch that we were talking about the little, because the way Metromine works is she steals cycles off of machines, okay? So what happens is that as she steals cycles off of you, you get more stupid and more stupid and more stupid, until basically you're just like a shambling, pile of junk that wanders around.
Which is what
did anyone catch? Did anyone catch that the shells were actually basically zombies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. Psycho.
Good.
That might as well have been saying brains, right?
Yeah.
That's what I got.
It was different, but it was cool. I think the only thing that kind of bugged me in the entirety of the story was Metromind. I liked the idea of his character, but it definitely felt like we were doing a slow burn in learning on how the world works and its history. We were getting little pieces here and there. It was really well done in very subtle ways where you go, oh man, that's how that worked. And then you get to Memoria, or whatever his name was.
Right.
And you have the Matrix Reloaded white guy info dump for 30 minutes, and it was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
I actually really enjoyed that, because there's a lot of lore and code breaking that needs to take place, and I had a good time doing it.
Oh yeah, I loved gaining access to his hologram. I thought that was cool. They had very subtle ways of hinting as to what word you should type in next and stuff. I thought that was cool.
I don't know if you can grab it, but if you can still see it in the Slack, Skulus uploaded a very neat picture of him solving that puzzle.
I
don't know if you
I
can
will download that.
But I don't know if you can show it in the stream right now. But that's the kind of thing that I like about this particular game, is that one of the great things is that they point out right at the beginning is there's no way for you to get stuck. There's no way for you to get lost, but there are different levels of puzzles in the game. Like, you can barrel through the story and make it through probably a good chunk of the story without having actually solved lots of the robot's problems, and you'll get an ending, But if you want to take the time to go and solve some of these more dense, more serious problems, you get challenged a bit, and you can go out of your way and try and solve them. And I thought that was very neat for this particular game.
I really enjoyed the logic puzzles. That the two robots and the the Factor built and the Sternweiler built. I had a lot of fun solving them.
I love that first bubble, the factory built and CERN built, because I just kind of sat there and looked at what the information was. It felt like an old math puzzle. That was cool.
Yeah, I got out a pen and a paper.
Yep, I did too. I do have the image of Jason's note that he uploaded to Slack there for you people watching the video. It's pretty intricate. It's very cool.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that I appreciate about this particular game, is that it's as heavy or as light as you want it to be.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about, because the ending is super important to this game, and we've talked a little bit about how we get there. The other thing I want to talk about is something that Nikolai brought up last week, and he was talking about the unique, and he noticed that the word was very odd, and he asked about that, and it's never explained throughout the game itself, but if you look at the unique and you look at its positioning, you can see that there have been words that have been scraped off.
Yeah, that's actually on that same picture, if Cody still got it up there. If you look at
it is. And I don't know, I know you worked it out, but I don't know if anyone else worked it out. Because what that does is, if you supply the bottom half of all of the letters, you end up with Horus. Yep. So the ship was initially called the Horus, not the unique.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's very clever.
Yeah, that is clever, because it's just buried just underneath how the unique is written.
Right.
Yep.
And
and also the other thing is that it's a very kind of, if you know what you're looking for, it's an incredibly telling spoiler for the whole of the game.
Yeah, right.
It totally is. Yeah,
but I love that they do little things like that in this game.
Yeah, because it definitely seemed kind of strange when Ever Faithful was like, "What is your name?" and I'm like, "I'm Horatio," and you don't quite get that, and then Goliath is like,
right.
"Horus."
No,
and
that's
go,
not actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one thing that I think we should talk about in the lead up to the ending is the sequence in the train where Crispin sacrifices himself, and then you learn everything about yourself in one big go.
Yeah.
How shocked were you by that revelation? For the audience, let me just put this into context. You're going throughout the whole game going, I hate Metropole, I don't want to be here, I don't have memories of it because I've wiped them, but it's not a place I want to go to.
Yeah, for some reason, I know that this place is trouble,
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know why it's trouble.
And do you guys watched the DOS code thing of the response of the program checking if there was life in the city, right? Yeah, I thought that was cool. It was basically how I thought the game had happened already, but it was cool to have the clarification, and I thought that was unique how it showed how that worked. It was like program was like, is there life forms here? Nope. All right. Nope. Well, launch this system then. It's just literally a fuck you bomb. It's like, wow.
Right.
That's awesome.
There are two things happening in it that I think that are kind of important. The first is that when you're walking around the city, 187 actually says, "I know you. You were part of
coming up as a friendly on my
scope. You're a friendly on my scanner."
And you're like, if you're sitting there for the first time playing the game, you're like, what? What?
Yeah.
First of all, you never heard about Obani before, but also because that seems out of character for Horatio. But then, again, with context and hindsight, the more you look at it, the more you go,
it was definitely, it was clarified for me later, too, when you're talking to Clarity about what Scraper says when he first sees you, and it reminded me, he said I showed up as a hostile on his screen. So he was on the other side of the war, so of course it's under, war crime that he can plunder what he takes, so...
Not only does 187 call you a friendly, he calls you sir.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Which would indicate that you outrank him.
Yep. So the way it's set up is that there's a great war, and all the last remaining human cities go to war with each other over something. We don't know what. But the net result is that everyone dies. Okay?
Yeah.
And the thing is that Horatio, the guy we spend the most time with in the game, was actually sent to wipe out Metropole.
Yep.
That was his job. And And it's the minute you see that, I don't know how many people had a very visceral reaction to that, but my first thought was, "Wow!"
I had that idea of that going into it, and I was kind of, I wasn't taken aback, but it didn't totally surprise me either.
Yeah, it sort of made itself evident when he's talking to Goliath.
Yes.
Because Goliath is not. I don't necessarily want to say he's scared of Horatio. I think I said that last time. I think it's more like he's a little bit apprehensive, and he's curious about why would you reactivate me? I don't understand.
Of all the people.
Yeah, why would it be you? Yeah. I love it when you're talking to what's-his-face later, and Crispin's like, if it makes you feel any better, he cut off his finger.
Yeah.
Leopold. And his story was cool, too, tying it back to the other Faithful, the Leo built. That was kind of a good way to wrap it all around like a circle, too. A lot of good circular writing coming out of
George,
little story like this in here.
Pay attention.
No, it was really well done. There were a lot of pieces, a lot of it that would seem like it was not totally necessary, but none of it was. It all felt, every piece fell into a nice little bit of the puzzle that felt natural. It was good.
Right.
So I'm going to step back a minute. I have another question for all of you. When you get the ruling on Oswald's case, the Sternweiler built in the other guy, I can never remember his name. When you get that ruling, and then Oswald is he's very depressed. The other guy leaves, but Oswald's very depressed, and he goes to the bar and he starts drinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you click on the bar, the robot gives you a note that's like, "You look, I have no choice but to serve this guy, but he's getting drunk. I need you to stop him. Can you stop him?" Yeah. Now, previously,
that didn't happen to me.
Prior to that,
I didn't click on the arm, so
okay,
that didn't happen for me. Which is interesting.
Yeah. So, but prior to that, you can talk to Oswald, and one of the things you can do is lie to him and tell him that Rex has been spotted near the train station.
Yes.
And he runs off, and he leaves his oil unchecked, and he takes off. He leaves. But I didn't click on this arm first. I didn't click on this note, so I didn't know what to do. I clicked on the oil, and he wouldn't take it. He said, "Well, that belongs to Oswald. You can't." And I was like, "Oh, all right."
Yeah, you can't actually take that. It belongs to Oswald.
But the thing is,
yeah, I got the note, and I just used the signal.
I got the note,
go for it.
It said, please make him stop. And I thought, well, obviously I need to tell him Rex is there again, but he won't go for that a second time. He said, no, fool me once, shame on you, etc. Did you guys figure out how to do that? Because I never could solve that puzzle.
I just used the signal transmitter on Rex, and it just made him run off. And Oswald was like, "Oh fuck, I've got to run off and chase Rex now."
Right.
Okay, so I never saw Rex again.
Oh.
After the
courthouse one.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it depends on how you solve
that initial one.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, because I actually had Clarity solve the case. I didn't do it myself.
Oh. Yeah, I did.
It turns out you can solve it yourself. It's just you need to sit and make a Venn diagram and figure out who built what.
Yep. That's basically what I did.
Yeah, I got a few of those questions
would have been an easier way to do it, but I did a mix and match crash, like cross with lines connecting things. But Venn diagram would have been smarter probably.
Right.
But yeah. I think the puzzle I liked the most at the courthouse was probably the easiest one, but it was for 187 because when you first arrive in Metropole, they tell you to look up at the laws, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So if I don't break any laws in the first 48 hours I'm here, then I'll be all right. And you're talking to 187, he's like, when I first got here, I shot up the place, and I was like, oh. You didn't break a law then, technically.
But you're all right.
You may have been on the other side of a war, but you technically didn't break any law. I thought that was cool. It was very simple, but it was like a little tiny, clever little thing like that. I was like, yeah, that's awesome.
One thing I really liked about the laws is it said there's no need for every individual robot to know all the laws, but rest assured that they're right, they're good. And it was like, oh my god, I hate this.
I don't know if anyone did this or managed to get it right, but if you can get Oswald's monocle, you can actually look at the unexpurgated version of the laws.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's how I ended up
laws,
solving that puzzle, is because I managed to be able to do that, and you get the red screen view.
Yeah, I got the red screen.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
I didn't try it on the printout though.
I thought you had to do that, but that's another thing.
Do you mean the printout of the laws though? Can you
no,
use it on that?
I mean the kiosk.
Okay, yeah. I don't know how else you could get past that.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't played it in a very long time, and I'm currently doing a playthrough, and I haven't got there yet, so some of it's a little fuzzy for me.
Yeah.
I think that we have said a lot, and this is about as much as we need to say. Does anyone having any passing thoughts or last thoughts about Primordia before we go?
I'm going to link the there's apparently both a PDF and an audiobook version of the spin-off story you were talking about there, Gray. I'm going to put that in the description of this video, and I will probably listen to the audiobook shortly after we finish this, because
it's not very long, and I won't spoil it, but it's very interesting reading if you have just come out of the game.
Yeah. So definitely
I will say
for people who want it.
I will say that I definitely would love to see a sequel, and certainly I would like to be able to go back to Metropole and
see if Metro
reactivate and no, I want to enter Factor. I want to go into Factor.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would be cool. Because that was weird how the perspective of that kind of pulled up too, and the droid flies out of that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Because he says, "Wow, it's like, well, there's City in there," and they go, "No, that's just Factor. He's that big." But you don't get to do anything except transmit to a radio tower, and I want to see that. I want to go in.
Yeah. I would like to explore like all of the other human cities and stuff too, because there were the 4 cities.
Like that too. One of the things I think they mentioned very briefly is that there's a cathedral somewhere in Metropole, and I wanted to see that.
Oh
yeah, I mean, and we also only saw a little bit of Metropole.
Yeah, it's a giant.
We saw the main street,
but
we saw the main street.
Yeah, Main Street, and then then there was the bus that crashed, and we couldn't go any further. So there's clearly there's more content that that we could find out about.
I would love to see
it. It definitely felt like a really dense world with a lot of history to it. This is definitely up there with one of the best stories I think we've played on the GameClub. I still think maybe To the Moon and Brothers owns out on story, but as far as world and world building and worlds that I would have loved to go back to more, this is hands down the best one we've covered, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I did really like Brothers, and that's where this came into play with me, as I was comparing the two as far as just like, is this the best one or is Brothers the best one? And I think
story, I'd have to give it to the Moon. Like I didn't sob as much as I did at like To the Moon, or as this as I did at To the Moon. To the Moon's story tackles.
I don't know if I'm even looking at it as an emotional quality or anything. I just I love the way Primordia was very fluid, and it led you right where you needed to go.
Very well paced too. Nothing. The only puzzle I got stuck on wasn't even a puzzle. I was just 100% sure it was one. It's in the secret room after you click on the tiny little button on the map, and you're walking up the tunnel to go to the place where Crispin blows himself up. There's a fucking robot head that's looking at all the pictures, and I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this robot head? I must have spent like 20 minutes there trying to find out what I was supposed to do, and I guess just nothing. So
speaking of that, very quickly, I just want to interject very quickly. How horrified were you that the last struggling human remnants in Metro Mine just gassed.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like, oh, well, dead.
The time of man is over. I just decided that. That's my jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
The only place I'm going to say the only place I got stuck was briefly. It was how to get the copper wire.
Yeah. I was stuck there, and so I was just like, wait, well, how does can I just give her the engine? And that was the thing that messed me up.
Yeah. I did that, and then I loaded my save because I was like, that's not it. I can't do that. I don't want to give it to a broken.
No.
Yeah.
Once you get the wire, though, I do love the puzzle of trying to figure out how not to cross the streams.
Yeah, that was really cool.
The place I got stuck was, the first time I played it, was where you're in a junk pile. Because I realized that you could use Crispin, but I couldn't figure out how. And so I sat there on that screen for 20 minutes going, there's got to be something here that I can use to power, but what? And how do I find it? And
Yeah, and there's like 7 places you can click on the junk pile.
Yeah.
And
I kept on, like, obsessing over the train. It's got to be the train.
The train's the thing that sticks out.
Yeah, because it still seems to me that there's a way to open that door.
Yeah.
Because he just says there's no way to power it here yet, or I don't know how to power that, or something of that nature. But,
again, I haven't played it in like a year, so I don't really remember. But every walkthrough I have seen, because I had to read a couple to talk to you tonight, doesn't talk about that again after you go back there. So I assume that it's just a text description.
Maybe once you open it up, you can buy DLC for the game.
Maybe. I love this game. I'm so glad that we got to play it.
Yeah, I love it too. Overall, extremely well paced. Definitely up there with some of the best stories we've done on GameClub. And this world needs to be revisited in any way it can be. I think it's wholly unique and very, very awesome.
Yeah.
So very quickly, let's talk about recommendations. Would you recommend this to other people?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
But would you recommend it with reservations, given that it's an adventure game and it looks like it was made in the 90s?
No, because I think, unlike a lot of adventure games, this one is extremely accessible. I haven't played Broken Age. I'm sure that one's probably a lot more accessible because it's pretty and has celebrity voice actors. But this one has really good voice acting. The resolution's not the highest it could be. But
you can raise it.
How? I couldn't find that in the options. I didn't have the resolution.
It takes a little bit of game restarting and stuff, but I got it to play at a higher resolution.
Yeah. The only people who I wouldn't recommend this to are people that I don't enjoy being around. So.
But
like people who are closed-minded because that's an ugly game, so I'm not going to play it.
Yeah, because one of the things that I always have a reservation about when I recommend this to people is just beware, it's brown, but it's brown for a reason.
It makes sense.
It's after the fall of man. There's rust everywhere. There's decay everywhere.
Well,
and that's just
sadly, I think that color palette is something a lot of people are used to these days. But this one uses it very well
properly.
Yes, very much so.
Right. Okay. I also more or less unreservedly give my recommendations. If you're looking for an adventure game to play with a very dense story, and you're just starting to play adventure games, I think this is a good place to start, because as the creator said, there's no way for you to get stuck, and Crispin's not a great hint giver, but he's one way of getting it.
He's a pretty good
very helpful.
Usually if I got stuck, Crispin would go, I don't know, boss, that lamp over there sure would be nice. Oh. I guess it's the lamp, huh, Chris? All right.
Maybe I should do something with that.
He doesn't give away the answers, but he does help. And like there were several times where I was stuck, and then I would click on Crispin, and then he would give me enough of a push that I wouldn't be stuck anymore.
Yeah.
One of the other great things about Crispin
"We got to find out what happened in that courthouse, boss." And that got me there a couple times because I was like, "There's nothing there, damn it!" Oh yeah, wait, there is.
One of the great things about Crispin is how often he breaks the fourth wall. If you keep clicking on him, he will say, "Hey boss, do you hear something clicking?"
No, I didn't try that.
I didn't either. That's awesome.
He's great. He's wonderful.
Yeah, he has all the best puns too. This is gonna be like looking for a bit in a terabyte.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how all their curse words are like besotted.
Yes.
Blue screen of death.
Blue screen of death.
Yeah.
We'll just have to go through every law bit by bit, bite by bite.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the easy pitch to sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think the easy pitch for this game to people would be, did you like the first act of WALL-E? Because it's a whole game of that.
Not really.
Yeah,
I wouldn't quite call it that.
It's a robot without humans solving problems. Ta-da.
Kind of.
And the color palette's basically the same.
Yeah, but I think
reminiscent.
WALL-E's a little more fun than this is, because when you look at WALL-E...
I don't think the first third of WALL-E's fun in any way. I love that movie, but it is not a happy-go-lucky fun time before Eva shows up.
Oh, sure. Right. I was thinking of, when we're talking about this, including Eva. But even so, WALL-E has things that make him happy. The robots here don't really. WALL-E will sit and watch those recordings that he has of humans dancing. And that makes him happy. He has a cockroach. That makes him happy. There's nothing like that really in Primordia. They're aware that it's a terrible world. They're aware that it's falling apart. And in fact, if you look at that world, it's going to die. Yeah. Because there's nothing to sustain it.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be too much to sustain the world of Primordia in the long run either.
No. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about Primordia. There's nothing in the world of Primordia to save that particular universe. Because the power cores that they haven't figured out how to make more. They have no scientists, so their power is going to run out. It may take a very long time. And by that point, robot society is probably going to be very stagnant. But they're all going to die.
Yeah.
So I think WALL-E is a slightly happier movie.
Yes, yes, it is. I was going more in terms of tone and the type of the type of story you're going with in that first third of it. Can't think of many other things that are in popular culture that I could compare this to.
Right. Yeah. Okay. We need to talk about our next game for GameClub.
Yes. The last two we have up are Abzu and Invisible Ink.
I
want it to be Abzu.
I do too, because then we could do it for 4 in February. Well, we could do it for 4 in February anyway, because we probably won't spend more than a week on Invisible Ink anyway. I'm going to try to show you my screen so that you guys can see me roll this dice. We gotta do it for the stream though too. Dun 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 dun. We'll do a D20. You want odds? Odds or
Nikolai, man.
Odds or even for Abzu? What do you want?
What? Odds or evens?
Even.
All right.
Sure.
If it's evens, we play an Abzu. If it's odds, it's invisible. All right. We're gonna be a little invisible. Roll a 15.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll get that post up then. Yeah. So there it is. Invisible Ink will be the next game we play. Thank you guys for watching the Twinstiq Game Club. I'll have information up about that soon. Yeah. Anything else, Gray?
And I will actually be probably back. As opposed to kind of finding places to go, I need a computer help.
Yeah, using a netbook mic and all that jazz. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, cool. Thank you so much for playing my game. I appreciate it. Thank you for listening to us. It's a pleasure having you.
I thank you very much for recommending it. So
sure.
Cool.
I have had a bunch of people with me. Nikolai, say goodbye to us, please.
All right. Goodbye.
All right.
Say goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Yoda, say goodbye.
Goodbye. If you want to check out more stuff from Twinstiq, go to twinstiq.com. We've got tons of new articles and stuff up right now. I've got Star Wars speculation. Andrew's got a post about his best games of 2016. I finally finished my award show of 2011. That took forever, so that's up.
The games I played that I liked in 2016, but I'm only going to be able to post it when I get back. There's a lot of little things that are going to go up in the next little while because we're playing Fallout 4 in February. So yeah, feel free to join us. That's Twinstiq with a Q, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep. It says it. It is this big logo here on the screen that you're looking at. So I hope you can have eyes. So.
I am Beowulf, and I'm saying goodbye for GameClub. We'll see you next week, folks.
All right. Bye-bye.